Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm showing you my favorite makeup brushes and makeup tools. So if you want to hear all about it, then just stay tuned. So before I get into any of the brushes, I just want to point out that they are all from Sigma Beauty, and if you saw my Snapchat on this, or if you ever just read the description box down below, then you know that I am a Sigma affiliate, which means when I link all of these brushes in the description box down below, if you click on any of those links or use my code, which is EXO, Shanine, it'll appear here. If you use that, then I do make a commission. Now I believe my code gets you 15% off, and look, I am more than appreciative of anyone who wants to help your girl out and use my code or use my links. But if we're gonna keep it a buck, if you just sign up for the Sigma emails on their website, you know, like you sign up for this and you get 10% off your first purchase. You guys know what I mean when it comes to signing up for emails on a company's website. If you sign up for that, they have like 20, 30, 50% off sales like every other week. So you can always just get a percentage off that way by signing up for their emails. But I just wanted to point that out before I get into any of the brushes. I'll stop talking now. So I'm gonna start out with face brushes, and the first one is not a brush, but it's what I use for my face. It is the Tarte blending sponge, which I told you guys a couple videos ago I can't find right now, but I like it so much that I ordered a new one that I believe is supposed to be delivered today. So yeah, that's how much I like it. I only bought the first one like a couple weeks ago. I can't find it. I feel like I should probably take a walk through my mom's makeup and I'll probably find it, but because I couldn't find it and I like it that much, I went ahead and ordered another one. So that is my favorite sponge to do my face right now. However, if I do use a brush to do my foundation, I'm going to be using the Sigma F80 brush. The flat Kabuki part of it is what I love because it just makes it so much easier. I prefer more of the stippling foundation in and then, you know, kind of buffing it out after I get like a full coat on my face, and this just makes it a whole lot easier to do that. So the next brush that I have to talk about is the Sigma Spotlight Duster F37. Lately what I've been doing with my makeup is that I will bake like right here, you know, dust that off and then put the YSL powder that I've been telling you guys about right on top of that in the same areas that I baked, and I use this brush to do that. So I will put the powder on my face like the baking powder, let it sit there, use this to brush that off, and then I use this to dip into the YSL powder, place it, you know, where I want to put the YSL powder, and then I use this to kind of pat the YSL powder in. This just makes it so much easier brushing away the powder that I use to bake my face. I'm slowly getting confused. To bake my face and then to place the YSL powder on top. Some of these are just a tad bit dirty because your girl used them to do her makeup today, but this is the Sigma Large Powder F30 brush. I don't know if this is just a part of their titanium collection or if you can purchase this separately. I feel like you should be able to, but all that information will be here on the screen while I am talking. This is the brush that I use to set my entire face, and I love it because one, it's just so soft and fluffy, and two, I love the size of it. So when I place the powder on my face, I just go in with this and, you know, buff the powder onto my face, and I feel like because of its size, it helps cover more surface at a quicker rate, which is helpful because, you know, ain't everybody got time to, you know, spend 30 minutes on their face. The next brush that I have is the Sigma Chisel and Trim Contour F77. Now this brush will get you that precise cut type of contour that some people go for. I'm not even the person who really, you know, wants that harsh of a contour, but I don't know what it is. I just love this brush. I feel like it kind of just fits in perfectly on my face. Maybe that's why I like it. You know, if you don't like such a precise contour, then you can use a brush that's a little bit wider or bigger, but that is the one I've been going for lately. And for my highlighter, I use the Sigma Tapered Highlighter F35 brush. Shout out to Aunt Jackie for putting your girl onto this. This came in her Sigma brush, favorite brush collection set that she had a couple months ago. Was it? I feel like it was a couple months ago. But this came in that box, and ever since then, like, I see why it's one of her favorites. I just love it to apply my highlighter. I'm not really a fan of fan brushes for applying highlighter, so that is what I go for that. I lied. I do have one brush that is not technically a Sigma brush. Not technically, it's not a Sigma brush. This is the Morphe R8 brush. It's the only Morphe brush that I have in here, and it's the only Morphe brush that I use, and I don't actually use it for makeup. I use this brush to apply my face mask. I just feel like, you know, with its shape and its size, it's perfect, and it's stained right now because I use this to apply a black face mask. I'm actually pretty sure that this is a contour brush, I think. I don't know. But if it is, then that's what I was talking about a few seconds ago with if you don't like such a, you know, cut contour. You see how it's a little bit wider than this one, so it would give you more of a, you know, non-noticeable type of contour if you use that one. So moving on to brushes that I use for the eyes, starting out with my brows. I use the Anastasia Dip Brow to do the bottom and the top of my brows, and I use the Sigma Angled Brow E75 to do that. The Anastasia Dip Brow is extremely pigmented, so you only want to use a little bit of it, so that is why this is perfect for doing that. So I just carve out the bottom and the top of my brows with this, and then to clean up my brows, especially since, you know, your girl kind of slacks on plucking my brows, nope, that's not it. Okay, I use the Sigma Line Perfector E68 to apply concealer and kind of, you know, shape my brows with concealer as well. Once again, this was a part of the Jackie Aina and Sigma favorite brushes collection. Again, I see why it's one of her favorites. It just helps blending out the concealer underneath your eye, so it's not that, unless you're using a concealer that's going to be extremely bright underneath your eye, it just kind of helps blend it out more so it doesn't look like you're trying to highlight that much underneath your brow. So the Sigma Diffused Crease E38 brush is what I use for my transition and sometimes my crease color. I just feel like it fits in perfectly where I would put a transition on my face, and I do sometimes use it as a crease brush depending on what type of look I'm going for, because you don't always want such a defined crease. This kind of helps blend that crease out so it's not that noticeable. However, if you do want a more defined crease, I use the Sigma Blending E25 for that. This is a great crease brush. It's also a great outer V brush, like if you don't want to actually bring, you know, the crease, or not bring the crease, if you use it for your crease and then you want to use it for just a color in your outer V, this brush is great for that as well. So not too long ago I did a cut crease and I realized I kind of like how these look, so I've done a couple more since then, and I almost always use the Sigma Cut Crease E62 brush. I just feel like because of how it is shaped with this curved side on just one end, it makes it easier to map out where you're gonna cut your crease, especially for someone like me who feels like they kind of have uneven creases, like they're not shaped the same. It kind of makes it a little bit easier to make them look more even on both sides. And then for my lids, I almost always use the Sigma Medium Sweeper E54 brush. This almost always comes through for your girl when it comes to applying her lid color, whether I'm packing it on or sweeping it on. Sometimes I might need to use a different size lid brush to apply whatever color I'm putting on, but this one almost always comes. So I only have 3 more brushes to get through. This is the Sigma Short Shader E20 brush. This is what I use to apply shadow to my bottom lash line. I just feel like because of how short it is and because of how straight it is across the surface, that it's just easier to get under there and apply the shadow and kind of squeeze into areas that might be harder to get into with a different shaped brush, and kind of keep control of where you're putting the shadow. This is the Sigma Winged Liner E06 brush that I use to do winged liner when using a gel liner. I just feel like this plus the Inglot 77 is like heaven on your face. If you're trying to do a winged liner, it kind of helps you be more precise with your liner. How many times can I say liner right now? And it keeps you from making mistakes because of how small it is, so you don't go overboard or you don't get crazy when you're trying to, you know, draw any lines or connect anything with your liner. And the last brush that I have is the Sigma Tapered Blending E40 brush. When you're doing your eyeshadow, it is helpful to have a brush that is clean, that you only use to blend out what you've already put on your face with the other brushes, and I use the Sigma E40 to do that. So, you know, I'll apply my transition and then I'll apply my crease and then blend it out with this. I'll apply my lid and then blend all of that out with this, you know what I mean? So it's just easier to have a brush that's already clean to blend your entire look together, and this is what I use to do that. So moving on to the tools that I use, this is the Sephora Color Switch by Vera. This is handy to have when you're doing your eyeshadow because sometimes, like I said, you'll want to use the same brush for different parts of your look. With the E38, I will use it with a transition color, and then I want to use it with a different color for my crease. And you don't really have time to get up and go get your brush cleaner and clean it and wait for it to dry. So with the color switch, I can use the brush for one part of my eye look, kind of just, you know, swirl it in here, and then it'll pretty much take off the color that was on it, and I can dip this into another color without those colors, you know, being contaminated and mixing into one color that I'm really not ready. I'm not ready yet for you to blend. I just need the actual color so I can place it on, and then I can blend it with another brush, you know. So that is what I use the color switch for. What else is here? And I guess the rest is just like the stuff that I use to clean my brushes. So to clean my makeup sponges, I use the Blender Cleanser Solid from the Beauty Blender. The irony that I said I don't like I don't use the Beauty Blender anymore, but I still use their Solid. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Take that out. Just wet the sponge, which is either for me the Tarte sponge or the Beauty Blender, and it takes the makeup right off. With the Beauty Blender, it might take the color right off as well. No shade. I'm just gonna close that up there. And to actually clean my brushes, I use the SigMagic brush shampoo. I was using the Cinema Secrets. I think it's Cinema Secrets. I was using the Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. I feel like most people know what that is. If not, I'll have that appear on the screen as well. But after a while, I felt like it was kind of drying my brushes out. Maybe because of how often I was using it when I was cleaning my brushes. So I was like, let me just fall back on using that as much. So I still use it, just not as much. Most of the time when I'm cleaning my brushes, I'm going to use this. And Sigma did send me their little glove thingy to clean my brushes with, which I hated. I don't like them whatsoever. So I use these to clean my brushes. These are from a company called the Brush Bar, and this is, you know, to actually clean the brushes. So you place this down on either side. It comes with six different patterns to swirl your brushes in. So you place this down on either side that you want to use. Usually I use this side because it kind of digs into the colors more. Place it down, place the Sigma shampoo stuff in it, put water in, and then, you know, I just go in with the brushes and swirl until I clean it, you know, wipe it off. And then to have my brushes dry, I use this, which is also from the Lip Bar, the Brush Bar, the Brush Bar. I don't know why I want to keep saying the Lip Bar. This is from the Brush. Oh wait, isn't there a makeup company called the Lip Bar? Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a makeup company called the Lip Bar, which is why I want to keep saying the Lip Bar, but this is from the Brush Bar. And once I get done actually cleaning my brushes, this is what I use to dry them. So you just open it up like this, place it on a flat surface, and as you see, it has these brush holders, and you just take one of the brushes, place it in like that, and leave it to dry. When you're drying your brushes, you always want to make sure that they're drying this way. You never want your brushes to dry like this. Come on, hold it. Okay. You never want your brushes to dry like this because the water will be sinking down here, which can cause the glue, whatever that's keeping the brushes together, to, you know, get wet, separate, and then the barrel of the top of the brush can just come apart, and then, you know, that's a waste of a brush. So you always want to dry your brushes downwards like that. So that is it for my favorite brushes. Let me know down below what some of your favorite brushes are, or what some things are that you guys use to clean your brushes or your sponges, you know, any other makeup tools that we should know about. Make sure to thumbs up, comment, and subscribe down below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!